You're listening to the Broadtek and Promwad podcast, an inside look into next generation product development in AV and broadcast. In today's episode, we take you behind the scenes at Promwad, exploring who they are, what they do, and how their 20 plus years of design experience can accelerate your product journey from concept to deployment.
I'm here with Yury and Vadim from Pomod. I want to dive into a bit more about the heritage and where Pomod comes from, how long you've been doing business, your core competencies and the verticals that you worked with.
All right, let me take the floor and try answering you on that. So the Promwad started around 20 years ago with three founders who are engineers, and initially they working on the telecom equipment, telecom devices. Actually, we sometimes have right now an internal joke that whatever Promwad does, it in the end get a switch. Because basically, we have sometimes lots of requests related switches, etc.
I mean, it's unique just to stop you there because so much of the technology in broadcast comes from telecoms, right? And
they're very connected because basically it all started from telecom, and that's one of our domains. So speaking about the full range of our domains or industries where we work in, that's the automotive, that's telecom, that's broadcasting and video streaming, industrial automation, and FPGA and H systems. So you're completely right. Telecom and video streaming, they're very, very close because basically it's communication. So people need to communicate, and around 15, 20 years ago, the communication patterns, they're moving from just verbal communications and phone calls to video communication. And since that, this domain is growing. So we take a deep part in both of that, in the telecom equipment along with the broadcasting equipment and software. And that's one of the segments that are growing nowadays. Speaking about also our heritage and locations, we are mainly represented across Europe with headquarters in Germany right now. We opened this location around 4 years ago to be closer to our customers in Germany, in Austria, in Switzerland, speak the same language and be closer to them.
And we call that nearshoring. So, and that gives there's a couple of things that I talk about, especially with you, Vadim. It's the importance of one, speaking the same language as your clients, but only being, in the same time zone as well.
Yeah.
That's such an important factor.
Yeah, for sure. So that is why we allocate our team in Europe. So the different offices, but when we start the project, we are allocating the whole team inside the office, the hardware team, software team, so they could work, and quality assurance team, so they could work on the specific device together, especially when it needs to bring up it, because it is not, sometimes the behavior is unusual, and it is necessary to collaborate not in 4 hands, but sometimes in 8 hands, just to understand where is the issue, hardware or software, and someone should reproduce it.
How many staff do you have totally?
I think up to 150.
Wow.
It's more than 100 of engineers, project management, and total around 150.
And that's a deep pool of knowledge.
Yeah.
Hardware, software. What else do you do? Besides the hardware and software, what other services and staff do you have?
Basically, if speaking about any device, so we are covering a complete turnkey project development, starting with the specs, then enclosures, then hardware, software, FPGAs, high-level software, including web, mobile, and then manufacturing. So we have all the capacity internally to deliver a turnkey projects along with the high-level software side.
And one of the great things, one thing that kind of attracted me to yourselves, I mentioned before about the hardware and software, but I look at it as, I think our collaboration is like a cheat code for, let's say you're someone that's an entrepreneur, someone that's a startup that wants to enter into this field, into broadcast or pro AV, utilizing the knowledge base, utilizing the fact that you can deliver a turnkey solution, the knowledge of being able to tell them everything down to manufacturing. With us, we can help them in terms of, go-to-market strategies, understand the commercial aspects of bringing a product out, marketing aspects, what are your competitors doing. Between that two, it just complements one another. And it gives really, when I say that cheat code, it's something that wasn't available 4 or 5 years ago, or even, further along. because it was almost tried and tested. That they would go to the Far East, so that someone would go out there, they might get stung because they chose the bomb that they chose was different, because they would go to their cousins and try to save a few cents on this, and you don't get that here, and then that's that surety that you guys bring to the table.
Yeah, that's actually an amazing question. Actually, the young companies and startups, they have a lot of to do when they start a company. And they have to take care of a lot of different things, which are completely different. So you have to take care about the tech stack. You have to take care about the bill of materials, then marketing, then financing, etc. So, and you always have a very vital decision, a crossroads. What you're gonna do? Whether you want to hire your own team and then manage them, etc., or you want to get a partner, a technical partner on board like us. And we will do that. And you will focus on things that maybe closer to you, like sales, marketing, financing, etc. So that's the thing where we can really help, because we know how it works. We have a very multi-dimensional expertise, different industry expertise in broadcasting, telecom, etc. And our team can take care about the MVP, and then when the startup is successful and keep growing at high speed, we can easily ramp up the team, taking care about that. And the founder of the startup, a small company, he just takes care about the sales, partnerships, etc., and not caring about a very, very complicated things with the technical motivation, etc. We take care about that.
Yeah, and I think that part of it is such a crucial element, because when you're actually looking at it from a financial perspective, there is no way any person can hire that level of competencies and being able to manage them and everything else, and it's so much more cost effective to be able to do that nearshore thing with yourselves, and working with us to be able to deliver exactly what you need.
Yeah, because you see, one of the problems developing a product is that you won't need all the team all the time. Because the device, it consists of several technology stacks. It's the enclosure development, the hardware, software, etc. And you will need this team, for example, hardware developer, for only 2 months, and that's it. And then the prototype will go into production, and the hardware team will be idle. And that will, in case you're doing that yourself, that will have the team idle, and you will keep paying them.
Yeah.
And that's very expensive. So basically, yeah, go ahead.
Also, the most important thing is the knowledge.
Yeah.
If you're going to design some specific product, where you would find the people with this knowledge. So in Promwad, there are several experts who are aware about the streaming, for example, and they could support middle guys in the specific scenarios. But if you are the startup, you just hired some kind of engineers. They know, for example, C++, but they are not aware about how to deal with video. That could be an issue. Yeah, they are good experts, but in a particular tech stack. Yeah, this tech stack is used in this device, but the expertise, how to deal with this or that, so it can be crucial. And architecture could be wrong, and you could get nothing during the end of the project. So you spent all the money, but what else? So
I see that all the time, especially there are certain places that you'll go to and they just say yes to everything. Yes, do you understand? Yes. They never push back and say, actually, I'm just querying you. And that working with yourselves, I've found that you query everything so that, one, you comprehend the solution properly, but you're also making sure that the other party have they had an oversight here? Is this a mistake? Is it a typo? What is that? The other thing I wanted to touch on was, what are the different working methods? How can I engage with you as a company? Because there's not just one way of it. I can work with you on a project basis. I can work with you on a retainer basis. Tell me a bit more about that.
Well, we are flexible, and depending on the needs of the customer, we offer the best solution that works for them. So initially, how to engage with us, it's very easy. Give us a call or send us an email, and we'll get back to you within the same day, during the business day. So typically on our side, there will be two main people communicating with our customer on a daily basis. So first, that's the business development representative, who is actually caring about communication, all business-related matters, etc. And also there will be a project manager who is actually guiding the estimate process, the consulting process, the initial stage when we discuss the potential technical solution with the customer. And then this person also he is the project manager who actually leads the project, leading the technical team, the engineers, and also remains the same contact point. So basically very easy, just two contact points of contact on our side, trying to find the best amicable solution for both parties.
Well, this is a key question because we're obviously talking about all the aspects out from the positive side. But what happens when things go wrong? How do you react?
Immediately. So, sometimes, let's say, shit happens, and there could be, let's say, out of understanding how to apply the change request which is provided by the customer. Each issue, how to say, resolved in a way, in their particular way. So, but in general, yeah, we work closely from the very beginning with the customer, with the product team, with the stakeholders of the project who pays the money, and we always track the project in regard to the budget, scope, and we map if everything is fine. So if we are, for example, in 70% of the project, it doesn't mean that we spend of 70% of the budget. We normally pay attention to the goals and to the value, if we succeed with it or not. So, but if, let's say, if we are not in target, so we are discussing with the customer what we can do. It can be limitations with scope if we are out of budget. If we're not out of budget, if we have unlimited budget, we're discussing the timelines, what we can deliver immediately. So it depends in general, but working closely to the customer helps us to be flexible and to react on their needs very quick.